Hello, my name's Edward Addison, the Scottish hypnotherapist, and today I'm speaking with Karl Smith of the UK Hypnosis Academy. And I just have a few questions for you, Karl. How you doing?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's crack on. Let's do something.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I was just wondering, your model of hypnosis and how to treat people with hypnotherapy is quite different from most therapists that I've spoken to, and certainly different from the training that I've had myself in the past. Kind of less progressive, kind of long, drawn out sort of approaches to hypnosis. What's brought you to how you approach the field?
Okay, so the way that I work is called content free. The reason I've diversified in the way that I've come away from most classical training is because what we have found, especially in the past 20 years at least, is where there's been a sudden boom in hypnosis, hypnotherapy training, is a lot of hypnosis training will try to bulge out their training with as much psychobabble and waffle as they can. What they tend to do is that you normally find that you can always tell a good hypnosis trainer. Ask the hypnosis trainer if they teach scripts. If they teach scripts, they don't know what they're on about. They don't know what hypnosis is. If you say to a hypnosis trainer, do you teach scripts? No, we teach content free. We teach you to deal with the person directly. Then that's where you go to. That's not a cheap plug for me. That's just all in all. That's a very, very key thing that people should do. And what I noticed is that a lot of training companies, especially with the hypnotists and hypnotherapists they do this and then they go, oh, I want to teach it. Is they don't know pure hypnosis. So what they do is they fill it with loads of Sigmund Freud and psychotherapy crap. And what they do is they fill it up to bulk the course out, to then go, well, we've got a 10-month course that will make you accredited, and it will make you a fandabidozi hypnotist. Well, actually, the reality is it's not. The failure percentage on people going on these accredited courses is very, very high. And the reason being is they're not taught hypnosis properly on the course. They're not taught about working with humans properly on the course. They're taught Sigmund Freud's inside leg measurement, but they're not actually taught how to deal with a human that sat in front of them with a fear or phobia or anxiety, stress or strain, weight loss problems or anything like that. So that's the reason I changed tack. And that's why with most of my videos on my YouTube channel, what I tend to do is I tend to pull that fluff out to show people the skeleton and to show them what's really going on. And the reason I did it is because I was sick and tired of watching, especially accreditation, because there is no accreditation in England. There is none. A lot of people think, oh, I need to be accredited. I work happily within the National Health Service, in government organisations. I work all over the world teaching this stuff without accreditation. And I'm a global hypnotist. So I don't need that accreditation because it's of no use to man nor beast if I'm working in South Africa. Nobody cares about the accreditation in England. Nobody cares about that when I'm working in South Africa. So the reason that mine is so different is because I like to give people the raw, this is what you need, this is what you need to get on with, and that's what all you need to do to get A, B, C, rather than A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and then go, we didn't really need all that, but we'll just come back to that. So the reason I do that is because I want that raw hypnosis. I want that purity in there as well.
Yeah. I mean, you're describing my background there when you talk about, I thought scripts was hypnosis. And so in the same way as I learned to drive, and they say that you learn to drive when you actually pass your test and you're out on your own. Well, the same with me. I learned like exactly what you said, the theory of hypnosis, the background, the history, and read a script, use this tone on this word, things like that. And it doesn't work. No, it felt fake. It was intellectually dishonest and fake, and it's so I ditched script.
Yeah, it's normally taught by incompetent trainers, and what it is they're just trying to make a quick coin. Anyone, as well as I do, you found me via my YouTube channel. I give everything away for free. When people come on my courses, yes, you get a certificate, because we all like a little certificate to stand there at the very end to achieve something. That's like swimming down and getting your brick. That's all well and good, right? We've all swam down and got our brick before, and that's all well and good to hold it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get that certificate and put it on the wall, it's no use. It's just absolutely no use. It's out of date already. And the reason being is that hypnosis is, especially in the hypnosis field, working with hypnosis and hypnotherapy is not about certification. It's about confidence. And that's the key thing that I get across to my students is, yes, we do all these different techniques, and yes, you get a certificate at the very end, but I'm not really looking at just ticking boxes on a curriculum and assessment sheets. What I'm looking to do is go, that person knows, not, yeah, I've just seen you do that. That's brilliant. What did I do? It doesn't matter, because that's what happens. What we tend to do is we look to make sure that the person really, really grasps the concept. That's the point. That's the difference. Yeah, you know, that's my job. My job is not to just throw certificates out there. Mine's to breed confidence.
Brilliant. I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot from, it's interesting because I was taught that stage hypnosis, street hypnosis, they are the silly, useless, if anything, damaging bits of hypnosis, but I probably learn more from them, with the actual technical side of hypnosis from them than from instructors.
Yeah, you normally find that instructors that say that are based on fear because they don't understand what's going on. And the key thing is that with people that do clinical or you know, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and all that type of stuff, and they sit there and do that. What they fail to mention is they go, yes, and I'm going to go do the Dave Ellman induction next. What they forget, right, that when they're giving it this made-up title of clinical hypnotherapy, when it is a made-up title, and I use it in certain environments, it's made up, as long as we know that that's a made-up title. Those people that sit there, then sit there and go, I'm now going to use the Dave Ellman induction. Why did Dave Ellman, this is the point, why did Dave Ellman come up with that induction? Dave Ellman did it because he noticed that while he was doing stage hypnosis, because he was a stage hypnotist during his time after vaudeville in his early years, is that he found that they were the common things that he needed to get pure hypnosis. They were some of the things that he needed when he was a stage hypnotist. People hold him up in high up there, but what they failed to mention is he was a stage hypnotist. And that's how he learned his trade. When Paul McKenna, when people go, I'm off to go learn a technique with Paul McKenna this week. Oh, it's so great. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. But Paul McKenna is a stage hypnotist and was a stage hypnotist. He learned that by being. When we look at Ericksonian hypnosis, when we look at Milton Erickson, he sat on a stage and performed these little mini miracles in front of people. He may not have been the da-da-da type person. Well, he was actually, but it was in a different way. But he still used that stage to perform. That's what he did, and lots of people forget that. They tend to just go, I don't need to know that bit because it goes against the narrative that I've been taught, and I shouldn't know that. And that's where the big problems lie. So yeah, there's that there. So when people tell me that they dismiss it, I'm just like, you're just an arrogant pig, that's all. You're uneducated and don't know what you're talking about. And that might seem a little bit raw for your viewers, but that's exactly where it is.
No, I think I totally agree. I mean, I classically trained as couldn't be further from what I want to achieve with people. I want to help people. I don't want to say, well, we're going to have a session for a diagnosis and then I'll give you a slight positive experience of hypnosis and then we'll not get into the big things. It's going to take 3 sessions, you know, for smoking, or 6 sessions, and we'll look at it then. And I think it's unethical. I think when I have a session with someone and they want to come in and they want to quit smoking, 40 minutes, an hour, they're done.
Yeah. See, the key thing about smoking and stuff like that is that you can start the process way, way before. And I think I discussed this the other day, is that it's not just about the session, it's about the preamble going up to it. There's no point booking somebody in for a smoking session. The session starts 7 days beforehand for me. So I tell them 7 days prior, you're to cut down 10% each day, as much as you can. So if they're on 20 cigarettes, I expect them by Monday to go down to 18. By Thursday, I roughly want them at about 8 to 10. The day before the session, I want them to be at nothing. I want the day before, no cigarettes. I want them craving. And the key thing is that I'm working with the human and giving them responsibility. When we say, oh, I'm going to book you in for 6 sessions, what you're actually doing is you're actually making giving the client no responsibility for their own actions. So you have to consistently do it. So by going, oh, well, we need to book you in for 12 sessions, what you're actually doing is quite fraudulent in some ways. I think it's fraudulent. I think it really is, because you're not working with a human, you're working with your bank balance.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I want to steer away from. And
you've got to be ethical. There's no point sitting there going, well, you need 6 to 12 sessions. 6 to 12 sessions. What are we going to do there? Well, that's roughly how long change takes. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I can get change in 1 to 2 hours. So I don't know what you're talking about. And it's just waffle. It's just bad training and poor ethical standards, with people with ethical standards over the top of themselves. Quite ironic, really.
Absolutely. I mean, would you agree essentially that all unwanted behaviours that people live with currently are from patterns of thinking and behaviour that have been learned or created through either trauma or circumstance?
I think that some of them are. I mean, obviously, we have to look at what's called primary gains, or some people call it secondary gains. Every gain is a gain. So when we look at it, yes, this is semantic, but I believe that when we're growing up, that we do pick up beliefs and values off of our parents, off of the people that are cohorts around us and stuff. It's about making choices about whether they're right or wrong. I think, I'm 40. I don't know how old I'm now. 46. 47. I'm one of the two. Anyway, but I come from an era of where using certain words and saying certain things were of the norm. But in my age group, my views differ to my grandparents, from what they used to say and their terminologies and the way that they used to talk about people. Whereas I made a choice that's not going to be like that for me. And before anyone calls childline, I come from an area as well where my parents, if I cocked up, put their foot up my backside. But I don't mind that. That's not a childcare thing, right? I wasn't bullied as a child, but I was just one of those ones that if I played up, I got a boot in the backside. I even got a boot off a copper once. But a police officer. But that was years ago. But now we can't do that. That's different. We're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to shout at children, especially in Scotland. You're not allowed to smack children nowadays. But the key thing is that I learned at a very early age, as being a parent, and I didn't like that. And I wouldn't subject my children to it. It's about choices. How do we make those choices? I could have followed on by sticking my boot up my 3 boys' asses. I didn't, because I made a choice going, that's wrong. I didn't like that. So some beliefs and values are there, but we all have a responsibility, and it's the key word in everything that I do, responsibility, to make those choices, to make those changes, to make those things, those subtle things in our lives. And I'm sure that your viewers will know what I mean by that, by the way that the world's changing, and we all go, no, I'm not doing that to my kids, or I'm not saying that word or I'm not saying that sentence and stuff like that, because that's the way it is. We'll make a choice.
And do you think that the world is moving away from people wanting personal responsibility versus
massive
sort of groupthink and tribal think and things like that?
Yeah, massively. People won't take responsibility for their own actions. They won't. They want to blame somebody else. We want to sue somebody else. We want to blame somebody else. Now, there is a time and a place when there has to be that, but on the same token, we have got into a situation where we're not really interested about self-value, self-opinion, and our self-worth. Where what we're looking for is how we can blame the next person for our problems. It's not my fault I smoke. It was the way that my mum shouted at me when I was a child. Oh, right, really? Yeah. Well, what's that got to do with this scenario? I bite my nails because I was nervous. When we went on a bike ride and Daddy shouted at me, well, shut up. It's got nothing to do with it. It's a personal responsibility. It's a personal responsibility. It doesn't, you can't change the past. You can only shape the future. I don't disagree that things are put in there and people need to be given a bit of a guiding light or a little bit of support and a little bit of guidance. But them coming to you and asking for that is part of the responsibility. That's the point. Yeah. The point is that they've come to you, they want it, but they just don't know how to find it. That's acceptable. When people just go, I just got it and I can't be bothered, then that's their own problem. That's their responsibility. I'm not changing. I'm not changing. That's fine.
Absolutely. I mean, I recall I had a smoking client who, she came to me, she was desperate to quit smoking. She was really struggling. She knew it was doing her no good. She couldn't afford it, and she quit like that. Yeah. She sent her boyfriend the following week. I didn't take his money. We didn't do the session because within 5 minutes of a conversation with him, it was more than apparent that he didn't want to be there. He was there. He was nagged into a session, and it was a waste of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to get that. And about 5-6 years ago now, I think it's on one of my videos, I was talking about this, is that a lady turned up. She had 3 or 4 children. She came into my office, into my old office. She had 3 or 4 children and was like, on her knees. It was coming up to Christmas. I'll never forget. It was a week before Christmas, and it was about a week, 10 days before Christmas. And she came in. She was like, my lungs, COPD. I'm not well. Can't afford it, and I really want to stop, but I don't want to stop. And I sat there chatting to her about 10, 15 minutes. It's quite apparent. And she said, well, what I need to do is I need to get some money and do this, that, and the other. And anyway, she comes into the session. She comes into the session about a week later. It was just before, a couple of days before Christmas. And she says, I've got the money. She says, I've got the money and I want to do the session. And I then was charging £400 a session. I now charge £1,000 to stop smoking. And the key thing about that is that she said it, and then at the very end of the session, she let go about how she got the money. So what I did is about 2 days later, I saw her walking by, and I had one of them Christmas cards that you get for your clients and that, and I wrote it out, and I got all the money and put it back in the envelope and sealed it up, and then went out and saw the kids and said, yeah, look, it's a card for you and mummy and all that lot, and walked away. The reason I did that is because that young lady, that £400 that she'd actually been to I don't think they're called loan shark, but one of those happy one day, where you can just get a payday loan type thing just to get you over. They never work. Yeah. And she'd actually gone to a company that had given her 350 quid. And basically she used that 350 quid and then the APR on that. And it was no way on God's given earth I was going to allow that to happen with these kids running around just before Christmas. She's gone and got a loan. But you know what? The reason I gave her that money back and I put it back in the envelope and I gave it a Christmas card and walked off is because she wanted it. And it's not wrong for me to go, no, I don't want the money for this. I don't need it. I'd rather just help her out and just, whatever. Hopefully one day that repays me back or has paid me back. But the thing is that that's the reason. She wanted that change. She wanted it desperately. She was going to do anything she could to stop it. And that was why I did it. And then about a day later, she said she opened up the Christmas card. She put it in the bottom of the pram. It was 400 quid. She just oh, thank you. Put me in the bottom of the cut in there and just left it. And then she opened it up and realised the money was in there. But, and I told her, I said to her, when she phoned me up, she came into the office. I tell her a lot. She phoned up her first. I said, well, come into the office. And she was sat there crying with the money in her hand. And I said, right, whereabouts to get the money from? And obviously she told me. I said, right, I want you to go put that into the post office now and go repay that money back now. Repay it back now. Don't even spend it on Christmas. Kids have got enough. Give them some walnuts. Give them some walnuts and some sultanas and some bloody some oranges. That'll do them. That'll do them. They don't need anything else, right? Just put the money back. And she did. She came back and she showed me the receipt. She put the money back into the payday loan, so she didn't get anything from it. But on the same token, she did it, and that's the key thing.
Yeah, I think clients that want change will change.
Yeah. You can always tell straight away with the client when they want it, because you go, do you want to change this? Do you want to change today? I'm very direct in that approach today. Do you want that change today? And if they go yes straight away, I know I'm in. If they go, well, bye, see you later straight away. You can tell spontaneously as a therapist by just that direct question. Do you want to change today? Yes. As soon as they say it, bang, the change work's done. The change work is done. Believe it or not, the change work is already done. All you've got to do is just flick a couple of little things over and it's done. It's then those people and ah. That's the way you've got to do it. And they're the type of things that you've got to look for as a hypnotist. Those type of body language, that type of the vocab, the way that people come out of it as well. Yeah. You normally find people that like to suffer. There's no point suffering. It's like I was watching a video the other day about people that like to suffer. If you've got a bad back and you just go, oh, I've got a bad back, and you just get on with it, then that's just a bad back. It's people who go every 3 seconds, I've got a bad back, I've got a bad back. Oh, by the way, I've got a bad back. Oh, I've got a bad back. Oh, did you know I've got a bad back? They're the ones who want to suffer. They're the ones who want to keep suffering. I'm not disputing they haven't got a bad back. What I am saying is that that need for that, I need to tell everybody that I've got a bad back. Yeah. So I know some people that are critically ill, that have been really, really ill, that sit there and just say, and it has done before. Some of my old clients, they've said, "Do you fancy playing something online? I don't want a session with you, Karl, but I'd rather pay you for your time that we can have a game of chess, or we can play some dominoes online, and I won't charge them. I never do for that type of work. But I actually get people who are just like that just do that want that. And that's the thing about it. It's about just being there. They, you know, some people know that they can't change, but on the same token, there are some people out there that know they'll benefit from it. And there's some people out there that just want to suffer and be in pain. They just love it. They enjoy it.
Yeah. It's reaching. It's letting people know. I suppose that's something that I want to do. Is letting people know that if they are keen to change.
Yeah, and the thing for you is to get that message out there. You know, lots of people are scared about hypnosis because they don't know and they don't understand. You know, and that's all well and good. But what your job is to educate people the power of this stuff and about how quickly you can make changes. That's it. It's as simple as that. And as soon as you get that, then you've got it. Then it's it. And you know, I'm sure many of your clients will benefit from your work, and especially around there. But don't just hang around the borders. Don't just be a border. Don't just be a border therapist. You're a global asset, not a village. Not a village.
Absolutely. Therapist. Yeah. I mean, I've worked with people all over the place, like Australia and America. Quite frequently, I have clients from there. The magic of technology. That's something I'll continue to work on and to build. I think, Facebook seems to be shutting down its borders on trying to get things out there for small businesses. And
that's why YouTube's better. As Facebook starts to bring down the algorithms and starts to stop you from getting stuff out there, that's why YouTube's so good. That's why it's brilliant. That's why I love it.
Yeah, and that's why we're here.
Brilliant.
So it's brilliant. Well, I mean, thank you very much for your time.
No, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And, you know, at the end of the day, good luck with the business and good luck with all your clients and all those people that are working with you. And it's, you know, and it's the same as anything, you know, speak to Edward about what his business is and what he does and how he can make changes quickly. And that's the key thing about this, because that's what, you know, it's about. It's not about, ask the questions. For those people that are watching now and thinking about hypnosis, ask the questions, because it is, you know, you've experienced hypnosis during these 29 minutes that we've been on. You've experienced hypnosis today. It's not what you think it is. But no, it's been great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Karl Smith from the UK Hypnosis Academy, best trainers around. And I'm Edward Addison, the Scottish hypnotherapist. And thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.